Alright, this phone came out 11 years ago. This is the iPhone 6 Plus. Today, I'm not just reviewing it, I'm actually going to try using this as a real phone in 2026. But what makes this even more interesting is this year marks 50 years of Apple, from the first Apple computer to where we are now with the iPhones. So I thought, what better way to look back than to use one of their most iconic devices and see if it still holds up today? Because at this point, this isn't about specs anymore. It's about one question: can something this old still keep up today? Or is it completely unusable now? Let's find out. Welcome to my channel. This is Sid, and let's talk tech. Let's rewind for a second. Back in 2014, this was a big deal. Like, literally, big. This was Apple's first time going to large phones. Before this, iPhones were small, compact, and then suddenly, boom, you get this, a 5.5-inch display. And back then, that was massive. People loved it because finally you could watch videos, scroll, and type more comfortably. But at the same time, this was also the phone that had the whole bending issue. Never forgetting that. Like, people were literally bending their phones in their pockets. So yeah, this phone was iconic, but also kind of controversial. So when you think about it, this phone sits right in the middle of Apple's journey. Not the beginning, not the latest, but a moment where things started to shift. Bigger screens, bigger expectations. And honestly, this is where the modern iPhone really started to take shape. Now, fast forward to today, holding this in 2026 feels weird. Not bad, just different. First thing you notice, it's actually really thin. Like thinner than what we're used to now. And it's super light too, but then you turn on the screen and yeah, those bezels hit you immediately. It feels like the screen is just sitting in the middle of a lot of extra space. And the home button with Touch ID, I'm not gonna lie, there's something satisfying about it. Like literally nostalgia. No Face ID, no swiping, just press and you're in. Simple. And holding this now, especially during Apple's 50th year, it kinda hits different because this used to be the future. But before we dive deeper, let's be real for a second. This is an 11-year-old phone, so I'm not expecting this to compete with anything modern. The real goal here is, can this still do the basics like messaging, social media, maybe some YouTube, or is it just too outdated at this point? Alright, performance. This is where things get interesting. Opening apps, you can already feel it. There's a delay, switching between apps, even slower, and sometimes it just freezes for a second. Now, it's not completely unusable, like you can get things done, but everything just feels one step behind. You really need patience with this, like, this is not a phone you use when you're in a rush. Okay, let's actually try using this. Okay, Touch ID is still smooth. Let's open messages. Okay, that works. How about Messenger? All right, so working. How about typing? All right, a bit slow but still manageable. Okay, let's try YouTube. Okay, tagal ah. Okay, it says here update available. You're using an old version of YouTube. Please update to get important. Okay, update required. Okay, so it seems that this phone is no longer compatible with YouTube because it shows here that unless you update it, you have to quit. So it's not gonna work. How about other social media platforms? Say Instagram. Yeah, okay. There you go. That took a while, and even when it loads, it's not the smoothest as you can see. You can feel the stutter. So yeah, you can use it, but I don't think it's enjoyable anymore. Dahil ang bagal niya nga. It feels like you're constantly waiting, right? See? And this is probably the biggest problem. Software. This phone is stuck on iOS 12, which means a lot of apps today just don't support it anymore. Some apps won't even install, others open but don't fully work. So even if the hardware is still alive, the software is already leaving it behind. And that's what really limits this phone. Battery life, honestly, not great. If this still has the original battery, you're probably charging this multiple times a day. Even like usage drains it pretty fast, so this is definitely not something you can rely on for a full day. Now, the camera. In good lighting, it's actually okay. Like you can still take usable photos, colors are decent, details are fine enough, but the moment lighting drops, yeah, it struggles. No night mode, no AI processing, just raw old camera performance. And compared to today's phones, it's not even close. But again, for 2014, this was actually solid. So, who is this for in 2026? Because clearly, this is not a main phone anymore. But I can see a few use cases, maybe as a backup phone, maybe for kids, just for basic use. Or honestly, for people who just want to experience what older iPhones felt like. Because using this really makes you appreciate how far smartphones have come. And honestly, this is the kind of phone that makes you reflect a bit more. Because it's not just about who should use it, it's about appreciating where it came from. So, final thoughts. The iPhone 6 Plus in 2026, it's not a good phone anymore. It's slow, limited, and outdated, but at the same time, it's something more than that. Especially now with Apple hitting 50 years. Because this phone represents a moment when things started to change. This was the beginning of big iPhones, the beginning of a direction that eventually led to what we use today. And holding it now, you're not just holding an old phone, you're holding a piece of that evolution. And yeah, sometimes it's not about how good the phone is today, it's about what it meant back then. And looking at something like this during Apple's 50th year, you really start to appreciate the journey. So if you guys enjoy this kind of throwback review, let me know. I might start bringing back more old devices. And I'll see you in the next one.